we're gonna hop on here a few minutes early. I wanted to show you guys, some of you guys watch me on Thursdays, and I've been showing you my experiments with planting and sprouting vegetables and stuff. So I wanted to show you what I have and what we can use from today to experiment at home. You can put them in your windows. So we're using broccoli, we're using carrots, and we're using, I'm using some pepper. The recipe doesn't call for pepper, but I had a pepper in my refrigerator that needed to go, so I'm using that too. So I'm going to show you how to plant that. So when you use a pepper, just like this can go right into the ground. So you can dig a hole, or you can put it in a pot, and you can just put it in just like this. Plop. You have a little bit of dirt underneath it, and then a little bit of dirt on the top of it, and then it will sprout from these seeds. And as this part around here kind of rots, it kind of feeds and fertilizes it, and you'll find little sprouts. And then I have this, which was just cuttings that looked like this. It was from an Asian or Indonesian broccoli. I got it from Purple Carrot. Purple Carrot is like a food delivery vegan service, and it was just like broccoli, but it had flowers on it. So I took it just like this, after I chopped off all the leaves and flowers and stuff and stir fried it. I took this piece and then I put it in water, and within about 5 days I had one little sprout, one little shoot, and then this is 2 weeks later. And then celery, if you use celery, if you use the whole stalk, you cut it off, and then you have that little bulb at the bottom, you put that in water and you grow a new celery. This is about 2 weeks as well. So if you cut this off, another one will grow. And this works with romaine lettuce too. You'll grow a new one. It also works with carrots. If you put carrots, see I have them here on a plate. The shoots will grow up from here. Just put some water on the plate. And then right here we have an avocado. You stick 3 sticks into it and a root will grow from the bottom. It does take a long time, but after a while it will grow a root. We had a plant for a long time. It just recently died, but we had it for probably 4 or 5 years. And it took probably about, I want to say 6 months for it to really root and for a shoot to come up the top. So those are my little gardening hacks and my little planting hacks to keep you busy during this time when the weather's getting nicer. I put them in the window, like I said, before, and during my Thursday reading stories time, I put them in my office because otherwise my cats will eat them. So today we are going to make Veggie Nuggets. This is a vegetarian option. If you wanted to make it vegan, you could by substituting the eggs for flax eggs, or you could, which is super simple. It's just a tablespoon of flax to a tablespoon of hot water, and you mix it, and it comes to the consistency of an egg. So for every egg, you would do a tablespoon of flax, tablespoon of hot water, mix it up, pour it in. You have to do each one individually though. That's how it works. And then you can make it vegan. So this is just using up what we have in the house. We are using carrots, broccoli, a red pepper, and then we're using some cheese. Like I said, if you want it to be vegan, you can use some vegan cheese, or you can omit the cheese. You don't really need it. The breadcrumbs to our house is gluten-free for the most part. I have celiac, so I can't have gluten. The breadcrumbs, I make my own mix, which is made from oats and some nutritional yeast and some quinoa. So I just throw that stuff in a food processor until it comes to the consistency of breadcrumbs. And then I add some seasoning. So whatever would be in your typical breadcrumbs, Italian seasoning, some salt, pepper, and the Italian mix. It comes out really good. And it's a good swap for that. So Jenna is going to start by chopping up some broccoli. So she's gonna grate some carrot and chop some broccoli. She already grated one of the carrots and she's gonna grate the other one on the biggest grate and not cut herself. And this is a good thing the kids can help with. And doing it this way too, with the biggest side down, is easiest for them because it gives them more surface area on the bottom part. And we need just about a cup of carrot, so we're probably good. Let's see, take that up. Yeah, I think we should be good. So if you want to just leave that. And then we're using 3 cups of broccoli, so we need to cut down that broccoli a little bit. We are going to end up putting it in the blender, well, a Vitamix food processor. So we just want to chop it down a little bit. It doesn't really matter what it looks like, stems and all. Just cut it down so it's like this. You can even break it down like that. Again, another thing that the kids can help with and keep them busy. Jenna, what do you like about cooking?
That I get to do it with my family.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
I don't know. I don't know.
Just anything?
Yeah. I like making cookies.
Mm. So instead of, if you don't have fresh broccoli, that's totally fine. You can use frozen broccoli, just thaw it out. And, or you can use riced broccoli if you have that. You can pretty much use anything here. Because we're going to be blending it up and making it into kind of like a paste and then frying it to look like a chicken nugget. It's really not that important what we put in it as long as it's healthy. So I've done it with spinach, I've done it with cauliflower, I've done it with quinoa and broccoli and beets. Beets is fun. I will sometimes shred the beets and put them in there, but I will rinse them and then put them in at the very last minute so they don't make the whole thing purple. Or I'll use golden beets. Let's see. And then after we get this cut up, oh, now's a good time to heat up your skillet. I'm using a cast iron skillet with some olive oil in it. You can use canola oil, you can use olive oil. I've had it sitting here on very, very low, but I'm gonna turn it up to like halfway, so probably about 4 or 5. Just keep an eye on it that it doesn't get too hot, but you do want it to be ready to go when the mixture is ready to go. It makes it so much easier. And it makes it quicker for them to go. In my final mixing bowl, I have some garlic, about a clove and a half, Everything, the vegetables are going to go into the blender with the eggs, and then we're going to put it into this bowl and then hand mix in the cheese, the spices, and the breadcrumbs so that we can keep an eye on what the texture is like. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, let's see how much we have. Let's take this out of here, and I'll give you a measuring cup. See if you can measure out about 3 cups out of here and put it in there. It's a good measuring activity too. You don't have to push it down. You can actually make it a little higher because we're going to chop it down a lot. Okay. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3, so that's good. Got that all ready to go. So we're gonna bring it over here. And we have, I pureed a pepper. So this is our red pepper that was starting to get a little wrinkly, and I didn't really, the kids don't eat them once they get like that. So, not raw anyway. So I will add that to recipes. Okay, Jenna, if you want to add the broccoli into the Vitamix. And the carrots. Another thing with carrots, when you're grating them, just leave the peels on, give them a wipe and leave the peels on. That's where all the nutrients are. Don't bother peeling them because that's where all the good stuff is. Okay, it's gonna get a little bit loud. If you don't have a Vitamix, just use a food processor, or you can literally just chop this up on a chopping board. You can put it in a regular blender. I started off on the lowest and I kind of pulse it just to kind of cut everything up. And then I blow the fuse that's in my kitchen because my house is really old. And then I turn it up. And then we get our trusty stick. We take it off and we just start pushing. Get everything mixed together. What's up where? Jenna, you want to mix that around? Are you saying hi? Tell Banker. Jenna's mixing up some broccoli and carrots, grating them down in the Vitamix. Once everything looks like it's getting mixed up, you can add some of this pepper in there. You can mix that up. And then we can turn it up a little bit. looks good. All right, Jenna, do you want to hold this now and I'll start hand mixing this part? So now we're going to take it out. We're going to put it into our bowl. Like I said, we have some garlic here. You can use fresh garlic, you can use the prepared garlic, you can use minced. You can omit it if you know your kids hate it. And just do salt and pepper if they don't like flavors. It's up to you. You know your kids best. I like to get it all out of there, otherwise it clogs my sink. Back over there. And then just mix in that with the garlic first. And then the rest of this, I do have the recipe and we will post the recipe, but it's going to be by eyeball. We never know how much moisture is going to be in your vegetables, in how big your eggs are going to be. It's hard to tell how much breadcrumbs you're going to need. So I like to play this part by eye. So I don't like to do this part in the blender. So I mix it all together. Just start mixing the eggs in. And I always like to use a spatula. I just think it's easiest. And we're going to use breadcrumbs in the recipe, but we're also going to use a little bit on the side to kind of coat the patties in once we measure them out. We're going to add our cheese. So our cheese is about 3/4 of a cup. Like I said though, it's hard to measure. That's about 3/4 of a cup. Get that in there. And then we'll add our seasoning. My family loves adobo, and that's something that we add to everything. The recipe calls for salt, pepper, onion, onion powder, and black pepper. That's pretty much all in here anyway. So I just, you know, sprinkle a little bit of that around. I do add a little bit of pepper. And then I'll put some everyday, everything seasoning salt. Everything has everything in it. And then a little bit of this multi-purpose umami seasoning. It's really good. It's based from mushrooms. It's from Trader Joe's. Also, their everything bagel seasoning is really, really good. You can put that in anything. Okay, now the recipe calls for a cup and 1/4 of breadcrumbs. So we're supposed to put a cup in here and save 1/4. So I'm going to start by putting a 1/2 cup in here just to start and see what that looks like. Also, depending on if you use the breadcrumbs that I make or if you use store-bought regular breadcrumbs or whatever you like to use for breadcrumbs, that could change the texture as well. So you just want to make sure you put a little less in to start, just so you're not stuck. It's always easier to add more than it is to take away. You want this to be a relatively dry dough that you can mold into patties. I'll add another one and see what that looks like. Jenna used to eat these when you were a toddler.
Wow.
I used to trick you into eating all these things.
Well, I would eat them anyway.
Yeah.
I was not a very picky toddler.
Jenna was a very good eater. She would eat hummus buy the tub full, and she would even eat roasted garlic by itself. She was a big fan of all that stuff, so I didn't have a picky eater there. Now Audrey, our newest toddler, is very picky.
She won't eat eggs. She won't eat vegetables. She won't eat whatever.
Yeah, she's not a big fan. So we'll see if she'll eat these today.
Yeah, because every time we ask her what she wants for lunch, she says, chicken nuggets.
Yeah, she likes chicken nuggets. So we'll see. Okay, this is looking good. So I ended up putting in the full cup of breadcrumbs. I'm going to slide this back over to the heat. I did remove it for a second just because I didn't want it to get too hot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up using whatever that was.
Audrey's cap.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to use a plate. I'm going to put some of the breadcrumb down on the plate. And then I'm going to use this 1/4 cup. Squish it in there. Then let it come out. Push it into a patty. And then pat it on here. Push it down just a little bit. And then, whoops. And then we're going to throw it back in there because I'm going to add some more breadcrumbs because that's not enough breadcrumbs. Let's see what happens here. Like I said, you can always add more. It's not quite ready. And I'd rather you see that happen because now you can fix it if that happens to you. If they start to fall apart, they don't have enough breadcrumbs. Let me add a little bit. Okay, here we go. Take this again. That's better. Throw it down. Get all the sides coated. This will make it crunchy. And then gently put it down in the oil.
Be careful to not get your fingers in there.
Yes, very hot. These are more like patty size, but you can make them tiny. You can make them into little balls. These will be more like nugget size because I can flatten them. And I have the heat is on medium-low. You'll probably want to leave them there. They'll only need to be turned one time. So about 3 minutes.
That's my alarm for my Google Meet. Shut that off.
Where did you want me to put it? Don't know. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Xander. Then I just use a metal spatula, give it a little flip, and a little flatten. It's kind of like falafel. Squish those down just a little bit. It does look a little bit like a smiley face, Lisa. You always want to turn away from yourself so you don't get splattered. And you can make these ahead of time and you can cool them off and then throw them in the freezer, and then to heat them up, you can just put them in the oven. They reheat really easily. And then for size, you can give them all kinds of dipping sauces. Hummus, Audrey loves ranch, ketchup. You can make some ketchup. Pretty much anything you like. My kids also love plain Greek yogurt as a dipping sauce instead of like a sour cream. So these two patties could be like mom's salad, and then these could be chicken nuggets for the kids, or for freezing. And I still have a ton of mix left, so you can make patties for dinners. You can make nuggets and just put them on parchment, flatten them out, and let them freeze and stick them in your freezer. So when these are getting ready to come out, I like to, Jenna had to go, she had a Google Classroom. I'm just gonna take a plate from over here. Today we'll do purple. I have rainbow dishes, if anyone hasn't noticed yet. My mom always had Fiestaware, and when she passed away, I decided that I was also going to have Fiestaware. So when we take them out, just put them onto some paper. You can use a brown paper bag. I just had some extra napkins. Just put them right on there. And then in between, I'll take it off the heat because I don't want the oil to smoke. So as you can see, it can make a ton more. It didn't take very much to make all of this, and it was super easy. I hope you all enjoyed watching me make veggie nuggets. And if you have any questions, comments, any ideas for what you'd like to see, I did post a crock pot dinner that I did last night, It was pasta with the meat sauce. It's I posted it on the Melrose page, but maybe I'll post it on the Little Sprouts page as well. It was super simple. It was a 3-hour meal. It took 3 hours, and the pasta cooked in there with everything. So it was just a one pot thing. It was super simple, and my whole family loved it. So yeah, I will see you this week. I think I might come on tomorrow and do some planting, and then I will be back on Thursday to read my book of the week, and I will see you soon. Bye.